right, let's hear it for our pipers. Please be seated. Good afternoon. I am Adam Bunting, principal of Champlain Valley Union High School, and it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the commencement of the class of 2019. Today, for these 312 fine young adults, we will pause to reflect, to express gratitude, and to celebrate both the challenges and triumphs of their journeys to an interdependence that is rich and as varied as the number of people here. The spirit of this class was captured aptly by Milo Kress at the end of convocation 2 nights ago. In his words, "The ceremony of applauding our uniqueness and strength will last as long as we have the strength to be unique. I want to thank you for setting yourselves apart from your classmates, because by doing that, you're creating a community where everyone deserves commendation for being themselves." So today, we honor individual uniqueness bound in the strength of unity. Graduates, the culture you developed is, and always has been, supported and fostered by parents, guardians, siblings, teachers, mentors, coaches, friends, and loved ones. I can't call you seniors anymore, but our graduates, please give all of the people here who gave you a chance to be here today a rowdy applause. Stand on up. Come on, graduates. Thank everybody. Let's go. And graduates, stay standing because we are now going to call Jack Zawalik up to stage for the Pledge of Allegiance. Come on up, Jack.
Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
The national anthem will now be sung by Paige Tebow and Sophie Roy, so keep standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
Please be seated. I would now call our friend and classmate, Jackson Guernsey.
Welcome. My name is Jack Guernsey, and on behalf of myself, as well as the entire CVU family, I would like to thank each and every one of you for choosing to celebrate with us today. Growing up, I wanted to be a superhero. I loved everything about them. Their stature, their strength, their nobility of purpose. I was spellbound by everything they did. I even used to attend preschool with a red cape pinned to the back of my t-shirt and was universally recognized as Super Jackson. Once it reached the point where reality and my perception of it became just a little too close, my parents held an intervention and we decided it may be due time I stopped wearing capes to school. That intervention may or may not have taken place last week. In reality, superheroes do exist. We have heroes all around us. Although they may not wear red capes or operate out of underground caves, I feel fortunate enough to have grown in a place that I am able to see individuals carry out acts of heroism daily. Our heroes are disguised as our teachers, peers, friends, and family. We have heroes like Mr. Greenwald, who fought to keep... Let's hear it from Mr. Greenwald. Who fought in the military to keep us safe before returning and dedicating himself to his students' success as not only a great educator, but a terrific mentor, role model, and friend. Thank you. We see heroes like Seth Emerson, who's gone, let's hear it for Seth, come on. Who has gone through the unimaginable, unchanged, and forever with a smile on his face. Finally, we see heroes like Clark Schmidt, who defines the words, yeah, let's hear it for Clark. Who defines the words courage, strength, and inspiration. Growing up in the CVU community means that we all own a special brand of tenacity, and that we recognize the virtues of friendship and unity. We support and will continue to support each other through the exhilarating peaks as well as the inevitable valleys of life. To all the heroes out there, thank you for always supporting us. Today brings us challenges and opportunities that we must seize. Every day moving forward, we'll be met with the question, will we back down from the challenges in front of us, or will we choose to rise above them? Building upon the foundations that we have all created at CVU, I know which choice each of us will make. In this next phase of our lives, this is our time to embark on new adventures. This is our time to rise above. This is our time to soar. Per aspera ad astra, to the stars through our difficulties. Everyone has their own unique and at times difficult path to follow, and as we leave here today, everyone will choose how to walk their own path. If I've learned anything in 18 years of life, it's that it does not matter how you walk. It matters. It matters that you keep moving forward and embracing your magnificent destiny. Own who you are, seize your opportunity, and welcome the upcoming changes. This is the moment for which we have worked so diligently. This is the culmination of the late nights, the early mornings, the term papers, the sports games, the theater productions, and everything else that has made us unique, yet unified. There is a hero living within each and every one of us. And whether that hero is traveling to Beverly, Massachusetts, or Ann Arbor, Michigan, Davidson, North Carolina, or here in Burlington, Vermont, It is our responsibility to let him or her shine. I cannot express the gratitude that I feel to have taken the journey which I did growing up in Williston, Vermont. And so it ends just how it began. Once again, with red flowing fabric draped across my shoulders, I stand here proudly among you and say, go be super, class of 2019. Thank you.
He's a hero, for sure. For sure. I would now like to call Paige Tebow to sing a song that she created for the class of 2019. Come on up, Paige.
This is a song I wrote just trying to process some of the difficult, hard, complicated truths that we as a class and a community have had to face this year. It's really helped me heal this process, and I feel very honored to be sharing it with all you lovely people today. I'm not my body's over there, sitting on a shelf, acting foolishly, while my soul pretends to be someone else, so I can disappear completely. Should have known better. We were just little kids and now we're grown, and I'm sure that he'll float as a feather, but down here we sink like stones. That will only live once, so when will we start living? Oh, when will we start singing what matters most? And baby, I will only be here once, so when will we start asking each other the real questions? Like, why am I here? Why is he gone? Whoa. Are they gone? I'm not my body, if that is all you said. Detach the mind from the head and fly on smoothly. But neither is he no more, 'cause our reality rides our mortality so fleetingly. You shouldn't know better. We are just teenagers and now we're grown. And do all our souls reach heaven? Or were we never never meant to know. They say that we'll only live once, so when will we start living? When will we start saying what matters most? And baby, I will only be here once, so when will we start asking each other the real questions? Like, why am I here and why is he gone? Whoa, I don't know how to move on. They say that we'll only live. They say that we'll only live. Baby, we will only live. They say that we'll only live. They say that we'll only smile, 'cause that's what he did. A full send, it is what you give. And baby, we will only live once.
Our second address will be delivered by Aiden Johnson.
Throughout our time at CVU, we've been through a lot together. 4 winter balls, 2 proms, countless sports games, theater performances, free blocks, rides to school, and more. In each one of these moments, there was one thing lurking, one common aspect that put the exclamation point on each experience we dove into. That one thing was music. Now, whether you like Drake, Pusha T, Ariana Grande, or Billie Eilish, or someone in a different genre that I'm too mainstream to know of, music has followed you throughout your time here at CVU. The first massive hit on our journey was a song entitled Trap Queen by the artist Fetty Wap. That was then followed by the return of Bruno Mars with the single Uptown Funk, and of course, the one that had us all in tears, See You Again by Wiz Khalifa. These songs marked the beginning of our journey at CVU, but we still had much more room to grow. Now, sophomore year came flying in with hits such as Designer's Panda and Drake's One Dance, and before we knew it, we were busting moves to songs like Havana and God's Plan at our junior year prom. But while these were the songs we listened to in the company of our peers, we cannot forget to acknowledge the music that was there for us when we were in times of sorrow. Music was an ever so needed constant in the lives of us all. It was there for us when we were at our best and at our worst. And without it, who knows where we would be today. And now, as we move from one stage of our lives to the next, it is important to remember the times we have had together and the music we still share. You see, during the last 4 years, we've each created a playlist entitled High School, which is filled with the songs and the memories that each one of us holds so dear. As I look out into the larger audience, I wonder what songs, what memories are captured within their high school playlists. I wonder what song Ron Fleming or Robin Fawcett or Anthony Spagnola danced to on the night of their graduation, or what song my parents sang to on their senior prom night. Our time in high school has been nothing but a playlist, but the good thing about this album is that no matter how many times you listen to it, it never gets old. So, as you transition from being a CVU student to being whatever it is you'll be next, I hope that you carry with you the skills, the knowledge, and the friendships that you gained here at CVU. And I urge you to not worry so much about what the future may hold, as there is always new music to be released and new memories to be created. Before I end, I'd like to thank my friends, my family, my teachers, my coaches, and anyone else that has been a part of my playlist over the last 4 years. I hope you all know that I won't forget the role you played in making me the person I am, and that you mean more to me than I could ever express with my words here today. So, as we stumble out into the world to take part in our new job or our new college, or quite frankly to listen to whatever Ed Sheeran's next song is, I hope that you'll create new playlists that complement the fine one you've made with your fellow graduates over the last 4 years. And most of all, whatever you do, wherever you go, never, and I mean never, stop listening to the music. Thank you, and go Hawks.
Eleanor Woodruff, come on up.
I started playing basketball in first grade, and I always looked up to the CVU team. What made them so special wasn't that they won almost every game, though they did. As soon as I was able, I attended CVU basketball camp, and I couldn't wait to join the team. After my junior season, when we lost the championship, I found even more drive to try to win as a senior. Now, having been through the program, I can say pretty uniquely that I have lost 2 basketball state championships right here in this gym. Most recently, just a couple of months ago. And while that game in March is not something I would consider a high point in my basketball career or my life, the season leading up to it was one of the best. The sense of community and the friendships that I built won't easily be forgotten. Though it may not have been where we originally thought it was going to be, we all found our place on that team. So even though our season ended in just about the most heartbreaking way it could, I wouldn't trade those months we spent in the gym for anything. We didn't get the result we wanted, but the time we put in together was absolutely worth it. Even though things might not turn out the way you want them to, that doesn't mean that the experience wasn't valuable. I mean, the administration told us we wouldn't have to do grad challenge when we were freshmen, but we did it and we learned from it. Part of doing something worthwhile is the people that we meet and the groups that we form along the way. As a team, our season was worth it because of the community that we built, one that I know I will be able to return to for the rest of my life. As a class, we may not be exactly where we thought we would be 4 years ago, looking ahead to graduation day, and we have all been through difficult times, but undeniably, we have become a community. When we go out into the world and we find our new places, wherever that may be, maybe it's a larger community like CVU or something much, much smaller, almost anything you do, regardless of the result, will be worthwhile if you have that place and that purpose. And I'm not saying that everything in life is worth doing, but find those things that you're passionate about and do them without fear of failure. Thank you.
A gift from the departing senior class will now be presented by Jessica Gagne, Alexandra Maclad, and Adelia Williams.
Good afternoon. I am Adelia Williams.
I'm Alexandra Maclad.
And I'm Jessica Gagne. We are members of the 2019 Senior Class Council.
Or, in other words, the people who run the dodgeball tournament. Yeah. For all the families who may not know what this glorious event is, it is an annual fundraiser where students and teachers create a team with a wacky name and some crazy costumes. Some of our personal favorite team names were Niagara Balls and The Weekend in the Bahamas. And of course, each year we have a winning team. This year, it was Clay Watch. A team made of some of the seniors here today. The proceeds that come from the dodgeball tournament are used by the Senior Class Council to do many events.
Some of these events are our school dances, as well as coming up with our winter carnival themes. Over the past 4 years, we have also been able to raise enough money to donate to local charities, such as the food drive. In addition, Class Council plans the end-of-year events for seniors so that we can celebrate our last 4 years together. These activities have been able to bring our class together before we go our separate ways.
On behalf of the Senior Class Council, we would like to present our class gift. We are donating kayaks to be used by the school for classes and workshops. As you know, 2 of our classmates, Paul Hopner and Clark Schmidt, passed away this year. The gift of the kayaks is in the spirit of the lives they led, as they both loved being on the water and exploring nature. We hope that future classes will enjoy using these, as they too can venture into the outdoors. Thank you.
On behalf of all of CVU, thank you for that very thoughtful gift. We'd now like Sophie Beliveau to come up, and she will be introducing our honored speaker.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophie Beliveau, and it is my honor to be introducing our graduation speaker. She grew up in Charlotte and is a woman of many accomplishments, graduating from Middlebury College and continuing to pursue her dreams as a skier even after a life-altering injury. In 2009, she was honored with the NCAA Inspiration Award and has given her own TEDx talk, as well as working for ESPN, before going through nursing school and becoming a pediatric nurse practitioner. She started the Kelly Brush Foundation to inspire and empower others to lead active and engaging lives. The foundation offers the inspiration to believe and the grants to enable the purchase of equipment. This has been a lasting impact of hers on people all over the US. And on top of it all, she welcomed her second child into the world just this year. Not once has she let life stand in her way. Let's give a warm welcome to the amazing Kelly Brush.
Thank you. Well, I want to start by saying congratulations to the class of 2019. Today is all about you guys and celebrating everything that you've done, the hard work that you've put in to get where you are today, and also looking forward to where you're going from here. There's a lot of people who have helped you get here to where you are today, parents, teachers, coaches, but today is not about them. Today is about you guys, and there's not a lot of days that you can say that, and there's not a lot of days that it's not selfish to say the world revolves around me, but today is one of those days, so enjoy it. I read somewhere that nobody remembers their commencement speaker. I mean, nothing. Not who they are, not what they look like, and definitely not what they said. That's definitely true for me. I had 3 graduations, and I don't remember who spoke at any of them. So I'm under no illusions that today is going to be any different. And because of that, I'm going to try to keep this nice and short for you guys. But I also hope that some of you guys, maybe even just a handful, will remember something and take something away from what I have to say today. So today I want to talk about adversity and overcoming adversity and coming out better on the other side. Nothing in life is truly guaranteed, but encountering adversity is about as guaranteed as you're going to get. I'm sure a lot of you have things that you expect to happen in your life, or things that you know will happen. That was certainly true for me when I was your age. I knew, and I use air quotes here, I knew I would go to college, I would excel at sports, I'd find a career that I loved, and I'd get married and have kids someday. I didn't know exactly what that path would look like, but those were all things that I took for granted that of course they would happen. But no one thinks about what could happen that could change all of that and can change those things that you took for granted. Sometimes it's something small that alters your path, and sometimes it's something big. So I want to share with you a little bit about my story and what appeared to alter my path. So I grew up in Charlotte and went to Charlotte Central through 8th grade. I never went to CVU because I decided to go to a high school that focused on ski racing, which was a sport that I loved and that I had done from as young as I can remember. I was also just a big athlete, and when I was a kid, I got into every sport that I could try. After I graduated from high school, I went to Middlebury College. One of the reasons that I wanted to go to Middlebury was because I really wanted to ski race for them. And I did my freshman and sophomore year. Halfway through my sophomore year, I was at a ski race in Massachusetts, and I fell and hit a lift tower and broke my back, which damaged my spinal cord and left me paralyzed from the chest down. Immediately after my accident, I had tons of questions. How was my life going to be different? Could all of those things that I had always assumed would happen in my life, could they still happen? What about things like my life expectancy? Was that shorter because I had a spinal cord injury? Could I still have kids? Could I still be active and ski and do all the things that I always loved to do? Could I get a job? Could I even, hang out with friends the same way that I always had? Some of these questions were answered easily and quickly, and some of them were a little bit more ambiguous. So you got a little spoiler from the introduction, and I'm going to give you another one here. All of those things that I assumed would happen, happened. I hit all those high points in my life. I graduated from college, and I went to grad school. I work as a pediatric nurse practitioner. I'm married, and I have 2 kids. And I still ski and do all sorts of sports. And a big part of getting to where I am today was my belief that I could get there, and my perspective that I needed to have after my injury. It wasn't necessarily easy, and there was definitely adversity. So after I got hurt, I spent 2 months in rehab learning how to live in a wheelchair. It was there that I started to understand both the challenges of living in a chair, but also what didn't have to change and all of the possibilities. I learned that I could still have kids. I learned that while I might have a few more health issues, I could generally be healthy and my life expectancy was the same as everybody else. I learned all about adaptive sports and that I could still be just as active as I was before, it just might look a little bit different. But probably the most important thing that I learned was that I was still myself, and that my ability to learn and to think hadn't changed. And because of that, my ability to go to school and get a job and hang out with friends and just enjoy life was still the same. And it was that realization that allowed me to have the attitude and perspective that I could get back to my life, and that nothing had to change because of my wheelchair. Sure, I do some things a little bit differently, but they're not worse. I roll instead of walk. I sit in a monoski instead of standing up. But these are little things and honestly pretty insignificant. So it was the days and the weeks and the months after my injury that I had to respond to this adversity. And my attitude during that time was always positive. I thought about the things that I could do and not about the things that I couldn't do. And I changed my perspective. Sure, maybe I wasn't going to race for Middlebury anymore, but I could learn how to ski in a monoski and still be a part of the team. I could be up on the hill and be part of that culture and community, and when I thought about it, that's really what I loved about the sport anyway. And maybe I wasn't going to be able to do those off-season workouts like I always had with my ski team, but I could be involved in other ways. I could help to plan the workouts and be the timer, and be involved in other ways. And honestly, was I really going to miss doing those sprints until I thought I was going to puke? Not really. So having a spinal cord injury is an obvious and very dramatic detour from how I thought my life would go. And not everybody's going to have something like that, But you will face adversity, and it might be something smaller. Not getting into the college that you wanted, not getting a job that you wanted, maybe it's getting fired from a job that you really enjoyed, maybe it's an illness that you get or an illness of a friend, or it's a death of a friend or a relative. Whatever the adversity, we all face something that threatens to change our course, or at least changes our perspective. And it's how you face that adversity, how you respond to it, and the attitude that you take that will determine how you come out on the other side. The attitude that I took right from the start is what allowed me to be successful after this adversity that had the potential to derail my entire life. I often have people ask how I have such a good attitude and how I can be happy all the time. And I tell them it's a choice. I choose to be happy, and I choose to focus on the positive and not on the negative. And I know this isn't always easy, and there are certainly days that are harder for me. And I realize both from my experience and from seeing others that this can sometimes be a really hard thing, and making the choice to be positive and be happy can seem like an impossible feat. But regardless of the adversity that you're facing, it's about changing your perspective so you can see that positive and work to make that your focus. So I want to leave you guys with a visual, and maybe this is going to be the one thing that you remember from all this. I was recently listening to a podcast about a guy who lived as a monk for a few years. And one of the things he had to do was walk around barefoot, and he was talking about how painful that was on his feet. And the other monk that he was talking to about this pain in his feet gave him this advice. He said, focus on the foot that's not on the ground and doesn't hurt, rather than the foot that's on the ground and does hurt. This is exactly what I chose to do, and this is what's made all the difference in the world for me. In your life, when you face adversity, whether it's big or small, focus on the foot that's not on the ground. And whether your path is altered just a little bit, or it's a big detour, your attitude will allow for an outcome that's better than you ever could imagine. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2019.
Shep just got your photo, which means you will be on Twitter in about 3 seconds. And I don't think it's too late, Kelly. You grew up in Charlotte. You exhibit incredible resilience, just like this class. Maybe we make you a member of the class of 2019. What do you think? Yeah? Let's do it. All right, future Red Hawk. So before we go any further, graduates, there are some really important people that we need to thank, and they are sitting that way. If you would please thank our faculty and staff who have cared for you, who have worked with you, who love you. They're amazing. And while you're standing up, don't sit down yet. We could also thank especially Colleen Wedge and Roseanne Fredrickson, who are leaving us this year. Colleen, can you stand up? Okay, now you can sit down. So we're getting to the good part. No, it's already been the amazing part. That was a big misstep. But to the graduation part. And I would like to present the folks who are behind me on stage. First, I'd like to present Elaine Pinkney, Superintendent. Lynn Jonick, Chairwoman of the Board. Dave Connery. Colleen McKinnon. Jeff Martin. And Mark Pogat. And the person who started school with you for these past 4 years, Nick Molander. I always have to remember to introduce Mark last. Mark Pogat. So at this point, Lynn Jonick, Chairwoman of the Board of Directors, these students have not only satisfactorily completed the prescribed course of study according to the requirements in the Board of School Directors of Champlain Valley School District, but they have done so with inspiration, compassion, and resilience. They have created a legacy that will be echoed by subsequent generations of CVU students, and a legacy that provides a glimpse into the citizens they will be in their future lives. Therefore, I recommend that they be recognized as graduates of our high school, the class of 2019.
Thank you. By virtue of the power invested in this high school and as chairperson of its board of directors, I accept your recommendation.
Here we go. Will the first group of students please approach the platform?
Callie Adams. Bryant C. Aldrich. Chloe T. Andre. Peter P. Antonozzi. Taylor M. Antonoli. Kristen A. Arliss. Joshua P. Ashu. Gabriel R. Atkins. Addison Obi. Alicia M. Aubin. Charles Allen Averill. Judah B. Avery. Elizabeth Bachet. Theodore G. Baker. Max A. Barron. Braden W. Bartlett. Madison L. Barup. Evan G. Beal. Sophie M. Beliveau. Francis T. Berard. Kyle L. Bergeron. Daniel P. Bernier. Willow J. Bertrand. Kaylee M. Bior. Zachary Billadu Doobie. Emma M. Bissonette. Justin M. Bissonette. Tony Blackburn. Benjamin R. Blackmore. Madison A. Blaine. Morgan C. Blaine. Cole J. Blake. Shane B. Bemke. Cole A. Bofa. Hannah E. Bowman. Keith T. Buska. Nathaniel Borock Hoffman. Mariah M. Boson. Jana Brunicki. Cecily G. Breen. Avery Sue Brooks. Brianna Brasso. Lucas R. Brown. Aiden S. Bundock. Benjamin P. Busher. Riley E. Canty. Christy Carlson. Nikos J. Carroll. Lillian M. Kazayu. Taylor L. Chatoff. Bennett Cheer. Amelia J. Shequin. Caden Nicole Delane Clark. Spencer P. Clark. Timothy R. Clark. Hannah G. Cleveland. Corey M. Claudio. Bronwyn S. Cobden. Peter W. Cocaine. Logan C. Cody. Grace A. Colbeth. William R. Cahoon. Gavin M. Cody. Geneva R. Cody. Silas R. Cody. Olive J. Cotton. Milo J. Kress. Sophia L. Cresta. Elena S. Kreitz. Isabella S. Curtis. Nathan R. Katita. Julia E. Daggett. Akush A. Dow. Bryce W. Davies. Finland J. Davis. Enzo M. Delia. Cale J. Dennis. Mackenzie E. Detch. Lily J. Donnelly. Isabel B. Dornbier. Alyssa M. Downs. Lindsay M. Drew. Michaela A. Driscoll. Hunter Ducharme. Maeve A. Duell. Ambu L. Deliba. Ethan W. Duncan. Rowan A. Dunlop. Kylie J. Dunshee. Nicholas A. Durrier. Nicole M. Eaton. Robert Edson Jr. Robert M. Ellis Clark. Elizabeth T. Emmons. Joanna Angish. Aaron E. Erdman. Jasmine M. Farlow. Abigail C. Ferrara. Riley W. Fisk. Emma E. Floor. Bay Foley Cox. Jared G. Forsyth. Mackenzie R. Fournier. Mullen M. Francis. Lehman W. Freeman. Thomas A. Frink. Haven E. Funkhauser. Jessica E. Gagne. Sean K. Gary. Taylor A. Gothier. Megan E. Gilwey. Sydney M. Glickman. Elena L. Godbout. Dylan T. Gooley. Maxwell John Gorman. Casey E. Gorton. Meredith R. Gove. Benjamin R. Gramling. Jacob R. Gravlin. Jackson N. Guernsey. Violet E. Hamill-Wade. Samuel Erasmus Hansen. Zachary P. Hark. Emma E. Hocko. Jillian A. Hebert. Alexander I. Herman. Seamus M. Higgins. Rachel E. Hoare. Annalise E. Holden. Willa R. Holiday. Elijah M. Holmberg. Quentin I. Hopwood. Mason L. Howe. Madison N. Hubbard. Eliza R. Jacobs. Gregory M. Jacobs. Caleb L. Jensen. Jimmy Jang. Sydney E. Jimmo. Aiden J. Johnson. Elizabeth A. Jones. Bernice M. Cabangele. David M. Cabangele. Julia L. Kahn. Sarah G. Kelly. Jacob T. Kindeston. Olivia G. Kinsel. Benjamin M. Klein. Samuel W. Knox. Brianna R. Kalibas. Sam R. Koskinen. Cameron A. LaBounty. Zane LaDuke. Levi Adam LaGros. Jack M. Landry. Kyle R. Lang. Matthew M. Larrabee. Isaiah N. Lawler. Shayla F. Lawrence. Jasmine A. Levitt. Daniel S. LeBlanc. Justin M. LeClaire. Stephanie D. Lee. Chandler W. Lehman. Noah L. Lemieux. Jared F. Leonard. Tyler J. Lestage. Mia S. Lewis. Jane Lindsley. Talia Loiter. Maverick J. Lowry. Nicholas K. Lyman. Tristan T. Mackley. Olivia Marie Major. Alexandra W. Maclad. Bryn T. Marshall. Caleb R. Martin. Leah May Martin. Noah Keefe Martin. Margaret E. Mathon. Jonathan McAuliffe. Emma R. McMahon. Caroline D. McNamara. Harper E. Mead. Jack S. Merrill. John W. Merrill. Ella M. Miller. Phaedra D. Miller. Chase A. Mitchell. Quinn W. Melnarick. Alec J. Mogilnicki. Claire E. Montgomery. Caleb A. Moreno. Luke Z. Morton. Colton C. Murphy. Jacob S. Murphy. Michael D. Nails. Catherine A. Noel. Justine Nolet. Colby P. Norton. Madeline M. Oliver. Cole B. Otley. Mason V. Otley. Lila M. Willett. Lauren A. Wemet. Jesselyn M. Owen. Stella J. Pappas. Ian T. Parent. Lila M. Lily M. Pecor. Asher M. Pellet. Nicholas J. Petrunik. Boaz W. Pike. Justin K. Plouffe. Nikki M. Poyer. Trenton G. Poitras. Sierra M. Polly. Alex G. Polly. Hannah O. Postlethwaite. Zoe M. Prue. Caroline F. Reynolds. Chase W. Reynolds. Brian P. Rich. Ian A. Ryder. Amber L. Robert. Claire A. Rushlow. Megan E. Rogers. Jason P. Rossner. Benjamin H. Ross. Sophie B. Roy. Delaney K. Ruggles. Aaliyah M. Russo. Nathaniel J. Sampson. Jack D. Savage. Justin M. Schaff. Jacob B. Schaefer. Zachary M. Shaw. Audrey A. Schnell. Catherine L. Schroeder. Allison T. Salwa. Natalie Sr. Madeline M. Serafini. Sohaila C. Schiffert. Faith A. Shive. Rayona T. Silverman. Teddy A. Simmons. Tyler G. Scaffelstad. Allison Smarden. Claire M. Smith. Cooper W. Snipes. Nathan R. Songer. Caitlin T. Sorrell. John P. Spasick. Alden C. Spell. Lucas St. Cyr. Michael O. St. Louis. Shay C. Steyerwalt. Trevor J. Stokes. Graham M. Streeter. William E. Strobeck. Samuel Harris Sturham. Luke H. Sweeney. Paige E. Tebow. Joseph P. Thompson. Catherine L. Thompson. Clara Tiboli. Brendan Tivnan. Elizabeth B. Tensing. Keegan E. Tolan. Benedict Tanoki. Noah F. Townley. Nolan E. Trello. Mark V. Tuhacek. Evan D. Turner. Parker L. Uri. Tessa A. Van Buren. Hala C. Vespa LaPointe. Ulysses S. Vogel. Alexandra P. Weiner. Grace N. Washburn. Alfred W. Wathugi. Eleanor F. Wiseman Rowell. Olivia R. Werner. Jason M. West. Gary M. Whalen. Finn M. Wheeler. Javon D. Whitlock. Ella M. Whitman. Gavin Wilczynski. Andrew J. Wilkinson. Adalia M. Williams. James P. Williamson. Evangelina M. Wilson. Jackson T. Wilson. Caitlin T. Wong. Eleanor C. Woodruff. Thomas D. Wright. Prince L. Yodashembo. Jack M. Zuwalik.
You see me trick Jack into that last hug right there? It's hard work. Heard that, Nate. The concluding farewell of the class of 2019 will be delivered by none other than Jimmy Jang.
I didn't think I'd make it up here without falling over, but anyways, my name's Jimmy, and I'm here today to tell you guys about a kid that wanted to be an adult. So, since I was about 8 years old, I'd always wished to be a grown-up. Someone that didn't feel tied down to anything, and a person that took care of other people. And I was a pretty independent 8-year-old too, but that pretty much amounted to microwaving my own food and not having anyone tell me when to stop watching TV. I remember vividly watching SpongeBob one night and thinking to myself, wow, that yellow dude never gives up. When he faced challenges, he had the determination to power through, and I wanted to be just like him. I remember that and how I wanted to live underwater and eat Krabby Patties, which is a dream I still want to pursue. On a more serious note, though, when I was in elementary school, the future seemed so far away that I couldn't really touch it even if I wanted to. Going on to middle school and high school, the independence that I had since I was a kid gave me a lot of free time. For example, this last spring, I took a trip to Boston with some friends out of the blue. Sorry, Mom and Dad, if this is the first time you're hearing about this. But I did this not as proof to my parents, but rather proof to myself that I could be the responsible and independent person I wanted to become since I was a kid. And I've noticed as I've grown up that life isn't always a walk in the park. Heartbreak, losing old friends, keeping up grades, and just being a teenager is tough. These experiences that I've gone through changed me. During that Boston trip, I learned how much interdependence mattered to me along with my independence, and how I should hold on to the people closest to me. I'll keep changing as I get older, and that's okay. While I was sitting in my room earlier this year, preparing college essays, writing for scholarships, and thinking about the crippling debt I was about to be in, I realized something. Growing up and being an adult has its ups and downs, and for all of us here, becoming an adult starts today. Savor these last few moments as a high school senior. Take some time to think about what kind of person you want to become. The actions I took until today made me who I am, and the actions I'll pursue in the future will shape who I want to be. Are you going to hang out with your friends, eat some home-cooked meals with your family, or seize the opportunity to travel? The little choices are what makes you an individual. It's okay if you're not the adult society expects you to be yet. It's a process that never ends. Take your time. You have many years ahead of you, and as the saying goes, growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional. Thank you.
All right, class of 2019, thank you for not throwing your hats in the air. It's terrible when that happens. Yeah, there you go, thank you. Everybody, please rise. Pipers, ready to go? Pipers, lead them out. Congratulations, class of 2019! crept up on you. Parents never told me. I probably shouldn't have gone